Hey y'all, Bridget Bartlett here. Today is actually part two of our help desk ticket support system inside of High Level series that we started yesterday. If you missed any of this training, definitely go back to my YouTube channel. You can just search Bridget Bartlett. And if you go to the playlist tab, you'll see that I have a separate playlist just for this training. Yesterday, we kind of did an overview of the ticket system and how it works. And today, what I want to do is I just created a blank account and we're going to build this together. Now, of course, you could just follow the training and build this yourself. But even though I'm going to give our members the copy of this snapshot, this system that we're building, it is really important to understand how it works because then you'll be able to incorporate some of these different features and strategies into your own automation. Okay. So I don't want to just build systems for people to import. I want to help you really understand the power that you have at your fingertips within High Level. Okay. So to get started here, let's go into the custom values. Okay, so this is the first thing that we're going to do. We're going to go into the settings here, and we're going to go to custom values. Now, this system is designed to take whatever custom value that you decide. Let me refresh here. Whatever custom value you decide to put in this number system that we're going to create, if that's going to be the starting point of our tickets. Okay, so you may want to use like 0001. You may want to use 469, whatever you want it to be. Okay, so we're going to call this ticket number, or let's say a support ticket. Okay. And then we can add the value here. Like I said, it can be anything that you want your tickets to start at. I am just going to choose this number here because, if our first person they submit a support ticket and it says your ticket is 00001 or it's one, it just kind of looks weird. So I'm just going to put this number in here. And you could create a folder in the custom values. This is the only custom value that we're going to create. Okay. So I'm going to click here and I don't really need to add a folder because, like I said, this is the only one for the support that we need. Okay. So we've created our custom value here. Now, what we need to do is we need to create all of the custom fields. Okay. So stay with me here. The very first thing I want to do when I'm creating the custom fields is I want to create a folder. You can see that we have the three different folders here already, and I want to create a custom folder just for support. And the reason that I want to do that is because inside of the profile, you'll see these folders, and I want to make sure that all of the support information is all grouped together in one place. So I'm going to go ahead and add a folder, and we're going to call this support. And I'm going to have this be the contact section. Now, tomorrow, we're going to talk about the opportunity section. We're going to create some custom fields for the opportunities specifically. But I want you to just stay with me here and just follow along and don't get overwhelmed by all the different things. I'm really going to break this down for you so that you understand all the moving parts. Okay. So we're just going to say, the field or the folder name is support, and we're going to select a contact. Okay. So save. Now, inside the folder, now we can start building our fields that we need in this system. Okay. So fields can be used inside of forms. If you missed any of this training, by the way, I do have a whole series that we just completed a couple weeks or maybe even last week of all the high level tools. I really go in depth giving you an overview of, where everything is and how it all works together. You can definitely check out that playlist there. Okay. So let's start creating these fields here. And let me pull up my little cheat sheet here that I created because there are many fields and I want to make sure that I don't miss any, even though, like I said, for my lucky members, you guys are getting all of this in the snapshot. So when you get this snapshot built, or if you are building this along with me, you will have the ability to just import this. And then you'll go to the custom values and then you'll just edit that with whatever number you want. And then you're good to go. Like that's how easy it is when you build a system like this on High Level. Okay. So the first field that I need to create, I'm going to do a single line text field and I'm going to click next. And the reason I'm doing that is it's going to be the support URL. That's the field that we're creating. We're going to put this field in a form, and they're going to fill out the form and then add that support URL. Okay. Now we're just calling it support URL here, just a little helpful tip because we can change it on the form, but this, when we add it here, is in the system. And so that shorter description is much cleaner and better. We also, because we chose contact, it's defaulting to contact here. And this is the correct group. And the reason it chose that group is because we created the folder and then we started building inside the folder. So now these defaults are going to be the same for us, which makes it really fast when we start adding all of these fields. Okay. So I'm going to say save now. And you'll see what I mean here. When we're creating this custom value, it's going to use the data that we put in here to name it. So it'll say, for example, contact, because this is a contact field, not an opportunity. And then it's a dot, and then whatever we typed in here. So if you typed in, please add the URL of the video to describe your support problem, then that would be the really long. Trust me, this is on my main account. I have it like that, which is why when I built this for you guys, I was like, hey, I want to make that easier for them. So we're going to add the support URL, and that is going to be on our field, okay? On the form, rather, that we're creating. Now we need another one here, and this is going to be a single line text as well. And this one is going to be the support issue, because also on that form, not only are we asking for like a Loom video, we also are asking to describe what the issue is, because sometimes people won't have videos. And it's also nice to know, when they're giving us the video, what is the actual problem like written out. Okay. So we're going to call this one support issue. It's contact in the support group. And now we're going to save. Now, this next one here is going to be for our ticket. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go here to add another field. And this one is going to be a number. And that's because we want to manipulate the value in this field. And that's why we're choosing a number field here. Okay, if we didn't want to, we would just choose a normal like text placeholder. But what we're going to do is we're going to choose a number field here for support ticket number 1. Same thing, contact in the correct group. So we're going to save. Now, of course, when we add support ticket number 1, we need to add another field, and this one is going to be support issue for the ticket. Okay. Now, this one, because it's an issue, and the difference between single line and multi-line is a single line field is just simply like a short sentence or a link or, a few words or something, right? But if you have like a comment box, or you have like an area in your field where they're going to add lots of information, you want to choose multi-line. That way, when they finish the first line, it will just go to the next one and the next one and the next one. Okay. So we're going to choose multi-line for this one, and we're going to call it support issue ticket number 1. Okay. Now we're also, again, contact, support group, and save. Now, the next one is going to be support ticket number 1 video. So I'm going to go here, add a field. We're going to add the single line text there, and we're going to name this. All right. Now you can notice, again, contact support. You'll notice that these are just kind of generic, okay? They're not specific to a ticket number, and these are what is going to be the most recent input, okay? Now, this is really important when you have multiple support tickets. We have to have something to put on the form, and then when we build our automations, we're going to move this data to these fields. Okay. And you'll understand when we get to that point. Okay. But that's why we need kind of a universal one for the form. And then we need the fields inside of the account to be updated to these specific fields. Okay. So now let's do basically that same process, but we're going to do this for the second support ticket. So if they have one open ticket and then they submit another ticket, we need to have somewhere for that to move. Okay. So what we're going to do is here, we're going to choose a number, because this is going to be for the actual ticket number. And we're going to say support ticket number 2, again, contact, support, and save. All right. Now this one is going to be a large text field. So we're going to go up here, do multi-line, next. We're going to call this support issue ticket number 2. And you can see when I'm naming these things, I'm being very purposeful when I'm doing that. Okay. So contact support. Now, I just want you to notice everything starts with support. And that's because when you go digging around for your fields, it is so much easier if they all start with the same word because you can just type in support in the search box and then you'll see all of the relevant tags or fields that you're looking for. Okay. So we're saying, and then also, for example, support ticket number one video, I really want that to be the same as support ticket number two video, right? I want to be congruent with what I'm naming things. All right. So let's go ahead and create that. Now we're going to go ahead and add a single line text here. And this one is going to be support ticket number two video, contact support, and save. Okay. So now we've created all of the fields that we're going to need inside of this automation. All right. So the next thing that we need to do once we've created that is we need to actually create the form that is going to collect this information because that's going to be the first step in our workflow. Okay. So let's go into the Sites tab now, and we're going to go to Forms, and we want to build a form. So we're going to click here to add form. And we need to make sure that we're using those fields, the correct fields. So we're going to call this support. Okay, so this is our support form, and I actually don't like to separate these, but it's up to you. It's not really something that's right or wrong. Okay, so I just like to make it simple and add that full name there, and I always want to make that required. All right. Now you may choose to have your phone number in here. It is helpful because, if they had maybe they entered their email incorrectly or something like that, then you would have the ability to call them. But since we're going to test this, I'm going to make it easy on myself here, and I'm just going to remove these extra things. Okay. The main thing that I need here is the full name and the email address. Now here I may want to change this to say um, enter your account email address. And I want to be specific because remember, this is for support. Okay. So we want to make sure if they are contacting us and if they don't use the same email address, it's going to look like we don't know anything about them, right? We have no idea if they're a member of our program or our business or SaaS or whatever. We don't know anything, any previous conversations because they're using a different email address. So we want to make sure to say enter your account email address. That way we don't have to go digging around. And then it could also trigger, automations that are irrelevant. So here, let's just change this button text to say submit support request. And I'll just go ahead and change this to black just because I'm not a big green fan. Okay, so now we have full name and we have full name and address, but we need those custom fields that we created. Okay, and you can see because we created a folder and it is a contact and not an opportunity, we're going to search through the contact section and we're going to look through our options in the support folder that we created. Okay, so are you following along here? Like, you guys let me know in the chat if you're just completely lost or if you're following along. Even if you're confused, as long as you're following along, that's what I want to hear. Okay, so we're in this folder now, contact support folder. We created already. And what we want to bring in, okay, remember, we're not going to use these in the form. These are going to be used on the back end to update the customer's profile. They're very specific. Okay, that's why we created these two kind of universal placeholders in a sense. All right. So what we're going to do is just drag these in here. So we have the support issue box and we want that to be required. And then we also have the support URL. And this is where they're going to submit that video. But of course, like I said, we don't want it to just say support issue. So we want to clean this up and make it a little nicer. But you can see when we change that, the little code here that helps the system recognize what field and what data this needs to go into, that is not going to change because we changed this. Okay, so when you set it up like I showed you before, where you're choosing the simple names and creating the simple code there, it's much better to do that. And then you can clean it up here. So here, what we'll say is, please explain in detail the issue you are having. And then maybe we want to put some like a colon there. And then here we want to say, please share the URL of um, Please share a video URL showing the issue you are having. Okay. So you can see again, I just changed that, but that doesn't change. Okay. So I could change this 100 times if I want to on this form or any other form, and it's not going to change that. Okay. So let's go ahead and save. So now we have our form created, and let's go ahead before we leave and let's edit the message that they're going to receive once the form has been submitted. Okay, we could send it to a URL if we want to, but what we actually want to do in this case is just put a message here. Okay, so we're going to say thank you for your support request. Oops. Um, our Our team will respond ASAP. All right, and save. So now we've created our form. We have all of the correct fields in there that we need. We also, and of course, you could add, guys, please keep in mind, you can add whatever you want to, but I just want to show you the basic functionality, and then you can just take this and then grow and scale, and sky's the limit. Okay, so we have all of the appropriate fields in here. When they submit the form, let's follow along the customer journey. This is literally how I build, okay? I don't really plan anything out. I just follow the customer journey literally in my head while I build, okay? So we have our form here. We're collecting the appropriate data. When they submit the form, they're going to go here, okay? Now what happens? Now we need to build an automation that is going to take place when the form is filled out. But before we do that, we need to actually create our pipeline, because when we build that automation, we want our pipeline to be part of that automation. So I'm going to go here to opportunities, and I want to go to add a pipeline. So this is going to be my support pipeline. And essentially it's going to be like a support dashboard. Okay. Because we're going to be able to see all of our tickets when they are submitted in an easy to see, organization, right? So we'll say support, and let's say the first stage is submitted support request. Now, maybe the next stage is in progress. And maybe the next stage is waiting on customer response. And then maybe the next stage is ticket closed. Okay. So again, these can be whatever stages that you want to add, but this is a good starting point. Okay. So we'll say save. So now we've created our pipeline. All right. So let's go into now the automations. I do see a lot of you guys are saying, following along. We're there. Yay, yay, yay. Okay. So now here's the fun part. Let's pull all of this together and make the magic happen. So I'm going to create my first workflow here. And of course, I'm going to start from scratch. And let's go ahead and name our workflow. We're going to say support. All right. Now, what is going to be the start of our trigger? Are you guys following along? What would be the start? How would we make all of these automations happen from what we've created so far? We need it to start when they've submitted the form, right? That's going to be the first point of contact. If we stopped here, it would be any form in our entire account. But what we want to do is add a filter and say the form is this specific form. Okay. So now what we've told the system, let's save, is that when someone fills out that specific form, we want all of these things we're going to build out to happen. Okay. Now let me go over to my cheat sheet because there are many steps in here, and I want to make sure that I explain them all to you. Okay. So now our very first step here is the if else conditional logic. Okay. So I'm going to choose if else. And the reason I'm going to choose that is because remember, when someone submits the form, there are two options. They can either submit their first ticket or they can submit their second ticket. Okay. Now, of course, you could build this out to do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But if you have that many open tickets for a customer, you may want to revise your system. Okay. So what we're going to say is, do they have a ticket open. I'm only labeling this just because it helps me when I go back to look at my workflows and I'm troubleshooting. It helps me to see at what stage, what question are we asking here? So if the answer is yes, how am I going to tell the system that the answer is yes, that they do have a ticket open? Okay. I'm actually going to choose, let's go to let's choose contact details, and we're going to go to our let's see, support ticket number one. Okay, support ticket number one is greater than 0, okay? Because everyone's gonna have this support ticket field because we just created it, okay? So if they have something in this field, any number at all that's greater than 0, that's gonna answer this question, and it's going to be, yes, they do have a ticket open because there's a ticket number in here. Now, you also have to be mindful, though, when you do something like this, that you need an ending step, and of course, this could go on, right? But you would need an ending step to make sure that when ticket number one is closed, that you return that back to 0. Okay, that you wipe that number out and return it back to 0. And of course, you can do that in the automations. Okay, so we're going to do they have an open ticket? The answer is yes. If they have a value in the field called support ticket number one that's greater than 0. Okay. And then, of course, we have a none branch, which is like the default. Okay. So let's go ahead and save. And you'll see now that we've saved that if else conditional step there, we have two branches. Okay. So if you're following along here, they're submitting the form and then their contact info travels on down to this first step. And then we ask the system a question. Does this contact have a value in support number one greater than 0? If the answer is yes, that means this is going to be support ticket number two. If the answer is no, that means this is going to be support ticket number one. Okay. And we can actually change instead of none, we can say no. Okay. And then now we have, we can change that just to make it easier, right? Okay. So now step number, let's start with let's start with step number one. Okay. So if they don't, let's say the first one, okay, if they do not have a ticket open, they're going to go down this branch. Okay. So what's the first thing that we want to happen when they go down that branch? Well, what we need to do is pull in that custom value so that we can actually manipulate it, the custom value that we built that has our ticket number. Okay. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to choose the math option because you'll see if we chose like update, there is an option here, update custom value. Let me see, update custom value. It doesn't allow you to manipulate anything, right? So what we want to do is use the math function and we're going to choose math operation here. Excuse me. Let me get a drink. Okay. So this is actually going to be, we're going to call this support ticket number. Okay. Now that's what I'm calling it just to remind myself what this step is. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the custom fields and I'm going to choose support ticket number one. All right. Because this is going to be the field that we want to update. And here, this is the little trick. Okay. This is like something that is totally it totally threw me and had me like doing all kinds of research to find out the answer. Okay. So this step here, what we want to do is pull in that value so that we can do something with it, but you'll see it's asking for a number. Like we could move this up and down if we want to, but we don't want just any number here. We want the number that is being used in that custom value. So what we can do is click here, go to the custom values and choose support ticket. So now we are adding that custom value to this field. Okay. So this field will be empty, and then we are adding this custom value to the field. All right. So that's how we're going to pull that in. Now, the next step here is to create the support ticket number. So for us to do that, let's go ahead and add another math operation. So let's go back to math operation. And we're going to choose, let's just go ahead and call it this, create support ticket number. And here again, we're going to choose the same field, support ticket field, but this time we're going to add one. Okay. And now we want to update that to support ticket here. All right. So we're going to save the action. Now, the next step is we need to add another step to update the custom value with the new number. Okay, so we're going to go here and then we can choose that custom value step now. So let's do custom update custom value. We want to choose the support ticket custom value that we created. That is the value now. And what we want to do is update that with the custom value from the support ticket that we just created. So let's go to fields and we're going to choose the support ticket number 1. All right. So if you're following along here, what we've done is we have pulled in the number from our custom value. We've added 1 and updated the field that's called support ticket number 1. And then we have added the new number back to the custom value. Okay. So now this is what's going to happen every time someone submits a support ticket. It's going to pull it in, add 1, update the appropriate field, and then it's going to update the custom value. Okay. Now, the next thing that we're going to do here is we are going to update the support ticket details. All right. So what we're going to do is go to update contact field, and we're going to call this support number 1 details. And we want to go choose the support number 1 info. Okay. So let's go to support issue. And if you're following along here, what we're doing is we're pulling in that universal field, okay, the support ticket issue in the video, but we're moving that data from that field to this new field so that we cannot override it if they submit another ticket. Okay, so support ticket number 1 video. All right. And then now what data are we going to put in this field? We want to choose a custom value. So let's go to, or a custom field. So let's go here to the custom fields. And here we want the universal ones, not the specific ones, right? This is what they filled out on the form. So make sure to choose the appropriate one. Okay. So we need the universal information for the video for ticket number 1. Okay. So let's find where it says support URL. That's the universal one. So that one is good to go. Now we have the issue, support ticket number 1 issue. Okay. And that's where they write out the description. So let's go to find the field, support issue ticket number 1. And then now we need to use the info from support issue. Okay. So now what we've done is we've updated or moved the original info when they submitted the form. We've moved it from this field to our new field and put it in the appropriate information. Okay. So now we've gotten that step there. Now let's move on to our opportunity pipeline. Okay. So let's go ahead and add a step here. And we want to, this is why we wanted to create the pipeline before we built our automations. So now we have the opportunity pipeline. Let's go ahead and call this the support pipeline. And we want to choose it from the drop-down menu. And when they submit the support request, what category or what column are we going to put them in? Submitted support request. And then now we can add the name. Okay, so this is the name that's going to be on the opportunity card. It's going to be in bold. It's what we're going to see first. Okay, so we can put anything that we want here. But if we want, let's go ahead and make this dynamic by adding custom values. So we'll do our full name there. And then we can even do ticket number. And then how are we going to get the ticket number for ticket number 1? We're going to use custom values. So let's go to the contact. Let's go to the fields. And now remember, we're not going to do the universal one. We're not going to do the support issue or the URL. We're going to do the actual ticket that we generated for this specific issue or submission. Okay. So now we need the support ticket and we're in number 1. So let's go support ticket number 1. All right, so now it's going to have that updated support ticket number that we just created. You don't really need to put anything in the opportunity source or the lead value or the status, but you do want to make sure to allow duplicate opportunities, because if they submit that second support ticket, you want to have 2 cards in your pipeline instead of just 1. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and save. That's all we need to do now for that pipeline. Now, you may want to send an email when you have received the request, right? Just and you guys know, when anytime you submit a support request, you always get an email that says, "Hey, we received your request. We're working on it," and maybe some additional info. So let's go ahead and we're going to call this email confirm request. And we can add a subject line here that says like support ticket. Let me go ahead and just copy this here. Support ticket. And then now we need to add whatever that support ticket number is. Okay. So again, we're going to go custom values. Let's go to the contact, scroll down here to fields. And then now we need the support ticket number 1. Okay. So you'll know which number that you want to put based on whatever branch you're in, right? So this is ticket number 1. This is ticket number 2. All right. Now we can add, and I'm going to just save time by using this template that I already created here. So now we just want to add the content for our email. So it's just going to say, hey there, whatever your first name is, thank you for submitting the support request. We will respond as soon as possible. If you have anything else to add to this ticket, please reply. And then we're going to use the custom value for the location name, and you can pull that in by going to account and name. Okay. So that's the email that we're going to send. Now, maybe though, you want to also notify a team member. Okay. So let's go internal notification. And let's go ahead and choose how we want to notify our team, maybe text message or email. I'm just going to choose email. And then here, I'm going to call this step notify admin. Okay, so we're going to choose the email here. We can add a from name or whatever if we want to. We need to choose the user. You can choose any assigned user that you want to handle your support tickets, or you can just choose custom email and then add the email from the account. Okay, whatever the main email is. And then here's our subject line. So what is the subject line to tell our team that we have a new support request? So you can just start like that here. Let's take that away. And then of course we want the ticket number. So this is in column 1. So we're going to add ticket number 1. Oops, not custom values, contact, custom fields. And then now we need to add support ticket number 1. Okay. And then now we can add the data. Let me just copy this from the request. Okay, so I just typed in, this is basically like a contact form, right? So you just type in whatever data you're collecting there, and then you just use the custom values to build all that in. So you guys can see I've been showing you custom values. I don't want to make this video too long, but that's what I've done here. So when the support request has been created, the customer is going to receive a confirmation email, and then the team member will also receive an email with that person's name, email, the ticket number, the issue, the description, whatever they've typed in that box, and then also the video. Okay, so let's go ahead and save that. And of course, we want to save our automation. And you'll see it's already 2:33. So I am going to stop here, you guys, but we are going to complete this week. I just don't want to make this too long and overwhelm you. And I also want to make sure that I'm available for open office hours. Okay, so we're going to build out what we're going to do for ticket number 2 tomorrow. And like I said, if you're a member of our program, you're going to get this entire snapshot on Friday, and then we will load it, and then you'll be able to ask me any questions that you have. Okay. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Go make your vision a reality. Bye. For joining us for today's training. If you have any questions, you can join us for open office hours starting right now at bridgetbartlett.com. It's free and open to everyone, so I'll see you there.